showtime.
Only slabs.
Hey there, comic book friends and fiends. Rob here from the Great Wall of Comics. Slabber Day. It's time for Only Slabs, and we can't have Only Slabs without the man from the north, Chris the Comic Vet. How the hell are you, sir?
Good. Living the dream. How are you? How's the
Are
back?
you living the dream or a dream?
Well, feel free to wake me up. I'll put
Because
it
I often say that I'm living a dream, and then
But
I want to
not-
know whose
but not that
nightmare it is. Because nightmares are dreams.
Yeah.
We also have with us today our guest, Kevin Entropy at Comics. Welcome to the show.
Greetings,
Of course,
community.
we're throwing this up right now real quick. Our early bird giveaway, hashtag Slabber Day. Get that in there right now. It's going to be going away in just a moment, only for the people who are here right at the beginning of this show. Woo. It feels like it's been a bit, but it probably has because we didn't have a show last week.
Yeah, it really messed up my routine.
Did
Not
it?
having anything to do.
So sorry. You give a guy a day off, and then all of a sudden he's got nothing to do.
I don't know how I deal with it, but yeah.
We got another one coming up soon too, but of course we'll be busy at Heroes Con then.
Oh, will you?
Yeah, Heroes Con coming up June 14th through the 16th. So June 15th there's no show, but we'll be there or at least I'll be at booth 1769. Chris will be at Heroes Con. He'll be floating around. Sometimes he'll swing by the booth, but he'll be digging through bins. You can be sure of that. He's gonna exercise some of that sweet Canadian cash.
I'm gonna get a lollipop and call it a weekend, everybody.
That's right. All right, I'm gonna make this go away now, and let's go ahead and play Romper Room.
Romper bumper, stomper boo, tell me do. Magic mirror, tell me today, did all my friends have fun at play?
Well, here's 25 Perez through the mail, followed by Las Crucius. Hooray! Then we got Brian LCS, is that he's going to be on the road, but hopes we have a great stream, as opposed to a scream, I was about to say. Robert Monroe Jr., happy Slabber Day, everybody. Shop for Comics, jumping in. Happy Saturday to all. John's Comics Kids, and Kevin's a pillar of our community. So glad to see him get a great moment to shine like this. Let's see those indie comics.
Yeah.
El Green Machine stopping by, saying hello to everyone. Over a year as a channel member now. Yeehaw, absolutely. 14 months, says Brian LCS. Let's go Rangers. I don't know why he's a Texas Rangers baseball fan. I'm going to have to figure that one out.
I think that's
PSN Great Hulkster, 16 months. Longest commitment for something good. That's great. Marty Alechko, Slabber Day from Canada. Comiverse, good afternoon, everyone.
How you doing?
I see Lone Eagle. Hey, everybody. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. That'll be tomorrow, but we'll accept it. In Australia, it's Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah.
It's Sunday there. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, how do you display that? Wayne Deacon stopping in and say hello. Speaking of Australia, never fear, Mad Spidey is here.
Hey,
Let's see. Hello, happy Slabber Day. Hope you're having a great day, Robin, Chris, Cat Fan Comics Man.
Thank you.
Woo! Cliff on Comics. I caught part of his show this morning. He took over the old Breakfast with Brian slot, it seems. With
Right.
Cliff Comics and Coffee or something. Yeah.
John's show was good today too.
I've been running around most of this morning trying to do so many things at once, and I'm behind. I had to make a list to try to remind myself of all the things I have to do today. And then I remembered it was my sister's birthday and had to text her to remind her that now she's old and she now hit 50. So
Oh, that sibling rivalry, just as fresh as it was in your teens, right?
she was very kind to remind me when I turned 50. And I
that was nice.
well, guess what? Touche.
Well,
Touche. All right.
Being the
Did I say hello,
youngest,
Gimelo?
paid off.
Gene, if I did not say hello, hello.
Bonjour, Jean.
John Comics Avalon, J-Med, how you doing?
Bonjour,
Jeffrey
Jean.
Castro.
Bonjour, Jean.
Let's see here. Collecting with Durs dropping in. He's working, of course, at the moment. Sending much love to the Pimpison Legends. He usually joins us live about partway through the show.
How Cancer does
Dead
suck.
Man, how you doing? Afternoon, slab people. Oh, Dale's of Suspense.
Oh,
Yeah, he's going to be a guest really soon
Hey,
on
Dale,
the show.
oh,
how are you?
very nice. That means we're going to get a lot of J. Scott Campbell that day.
Could be.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Who else do we have? Meatwad number 1 is What's Poppin' Party People.
Hey, me
That's a
watch.
lot of P's to make sure that your microphone's not too hot. Yeah, see, sound guy gets it.
Yeah, I do.
Comiverse, slabbing time. Yeah, do your sides now too.
Yeah. Like the swim over.
Let's see here. Who else we get? Milt Miller. Good afternoon, everybody.
Little milk.
Marty's reporting for duty. He says, "Don't forget to slap that button because cancer sucks." Yes, he's talking about that like button, but we don't mind if you also hit that super chat button or even the membership button, joining the membership. It all goes to help stop comics curing or help support comics curing cancer. Stop cancer.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Just play the video and let's
yeah.
go.
That's the first time I ever asked for anything I really wanted.
Kenneth Bird's here, everybody. Hello, Kenneth Bird.
Hey, Ben.
Let's see who else am I. Oh, Charmaine Deacon's here. Hello, thanks for joining us today. And let's see who else do I know. Make sure I get everybody here. Starting to see some of those hashtags drop in, so I know where I'm at. There's Chris the Comic Vet. We'll say hello to him. Of course,
Hey, Chris.
Mark, Legion of Comics. He's dropping by. Dagger Comics, welcome to the show.
Appreciate you.
Let's see here. Wellbore,
Hey,
just got
welcome.
hit. Just see here, and
Papa Wheelie.
maybe I haven't gotten there yet. Hold on, I want to make sure. Oh, Dr. Von Hoots, Comics from the Spiral Dimension. Happy Slabber Day.
Doctor.
The Good Doctor. Doctor. Oh, there he is. He says, "Hey, let's get slabby with it."
So loving
Yeah.
you.
There you go.
Bet she gives great helmet.
Kiss me. No. Lord help me, what? You're needed on the bridge, sir. Knock on my door. Knock next time.
Every time you play the Family Guy one, I'm like, oh, that's my favorite. And then you play that one, I'm like, that one's my favorite.
Tito the Alien, happy Slabber Day. Thanks for joining us. The Adventurous Joe, happy Slabber Day, and all the mothers who will be, and those that will be moms. Timo Hana swinging by. Mahalo, everyone. KBDM. Let's see here. Who else? We got Kevin. Papa Willie dropping in. Chris conned me into stopping back. How did you con him?
Good job.
I don't reveal secrets. Let's just be happy he's here.
He's here and he's dropping that $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Papa Willie. This one's for you.
You know, I'm very conflicted about how I'm supposed to feel watching this.
Lori Navila, hello. Thank you for joining us today for Only Slabs. We're going to get right into the show in just a moment here as I'm scrolling through. Make sure we say hello to everybody. Who else are we missing? Anybody? I got to the end of the feed and I think we have said hello to everybody. I apologize if I missed you. Did not mean to, but you know, the show must go on. All right. So we did we throw up our early bird hashtag. And so now let's go ahead and do our early bird giveaway. Round and around, or where she goes, where she stops, the internet knows. And our winner is boom.
job.
The comic
Yeah.
vet. Look at that.
It's
All
been
right.
So long.
The comic vet.
So long.
He's like, oh,
So
this box is
long.
so stacked. I need to be involved in all
I
this.
want to see people drop rigged in there because I am going to rate this box because I know what's in there. Now this is going to
All
this is going to pop
So
a wheelie.
Kevin's going to have to pull for you now.
No,
Chris.
Oh,
we're gonna
really?
send this to Papa Wheelie. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, we're going to
How
send this to
about,
Pop. Okay, you're
yeah.
going to send this to Papa Wheelie. Okay.
Unless
So in that
it's
case, you.
ASM.
Well, it's all or nothing.
Yeah, Papa sent a real nice super chat there, so we're gonna send it to
Okay.
Papa.
All right. So let me remove this.
Technically, this is how I conned him back.
Got it. Okay, Chris. In that case, what are we pulling for Papa?
Are we doing 6?
We're 6, and then I'm going to do a bonus book. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do 3, and I'll let Kev do the final ones. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. I'll take the first 3 in the front of the box.
Okay. All right, Kevin. 1 through 10 from the front, 1 through 10 from the back, or we goose back front action. We're going to pull 4 more books.
How about 4 through 7 from the back, or 4 through 6 from the back? Yeah, 4,
2,
5, 6.
3, 4. So the 4th book, or
Yeah,
after
fourth book,
4,
5th book, and 6.
5, 6. Okay. 1 more book.
And let's go ahead and do number 7 from the back. Make it
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
perfect.
All right. Papa, let's see what they pulled for you. You got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Armageddon Game, issue 1.
That's a fun cover. I like that.
There's a lot going on, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
It's a good read, too.
We've got Strange Tales 165, featuring some Steranko action going on.
I'm starting to have remorse already, but okay.
We've got
Oh,
Polybagged Resurrection.
nice. The
I
Return
like
of
Seal.
Superman. That's great. That's a good book.
We got Tales to Astonish 68, featuring Hulk and Giant Man.
Oh,
It's a great book.
We've got Amazing Spider-Man 615.
Cool.
I don't know why that's in there.
Defenders issue 70.
Oh, okay. I can see Mad Spidey's down in Australia just pointing his finger and laughing at me right now.
And Fantastic Four 32.
Oh, come on. Look
Ooh.
at that cover. That is awesome. All
So
right.
congratulations, Papa. These will be going out to you.
Look at
A lot of great books in that box.
Chris is regretting it now. Yeah.
Okay, enough of that. Enough of me. It's time we get into the show. Kevin, welcome to OnlySlabs. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to get into showcasing your books here in just a second. But before you do, why don't you go ahead and hit everybody with your comic book origin story? What radioactive bug bit you that got you to hate money and start collecting comics?
Honestly, that's a great way of putting it. My story is definitely unique, and but what I'll say to kind of give you the history without giving you too much of the history, meaning a buddy of mine, which was a friend that I just moved into a house. The people that lived in front of us were our porters, hence that was actually their last name, and they were our landlords. He asked me to go with him to go get some books. So after going on a journey with him, I was introduced to comics. Had no idea that that's what he was talking about. Coming back home, I was looking through these things. I was the age of 7 years old. This is 1976. Yeah, I'm old. So I'm looking through this stuff going, I've never been introduced to stuff. I've seen cartoons. I've seen stuff. Didn't know it was on paper. So roughly about a year later, between Star Wars and everything that was happening, some of the first books that I received was the JCPenney value pack, 3-pack of Star Wars.
Okay.
Min collection. And I received that from my aunt, and that was basically the start. So I've been collecting on and off since 1977 officially.
Nice. All right. Well, with that, let's kick it off. Let's show these folks your first book.
All right. So I'm going to be kind of hopping around, but hopefully it will give you some type of, I guess, better way to understand how I collect, what I collect, and why I collect. So let's start it off with this slab right here, which is in the So when this was launched, the original Simpsons cartoon, it was launched back in 1989 on a show called Tracy Ullman. It gained such quick popularity that same year, I believe it was in December, that The Simpsons officially came out with its own comic. There was a sub show within that show, which was the Itchy and Scratchy Show. It was a cartoon played on The Simpsons. I immediately fell in love with that, which immediately made me fall in love with the show, which I had to get. Once I ended up finding out that there was a signing event happening, I had to go there. So I had 4 of the contributing members to this book sign it, which are the 2 Vances. I had Bill sign this thing, and I had Matt Groening sign this thing. Now, they are hard to see, but they are definitely there. You see Steve and Bill and Matt, and Nancy's around there somewhere, I'm sure. Wow. But I ended up having them sign this along with another one and the original Simpsons book. But it was more for me to put together my pop culture lineage and its beginning, if that makes sense, between me already watching something and then bringing it into the book aspect. This was something for me to bring both my collecting of comics, my movies and TVs together. This started it.
Very cool. And for those of you guys who don't know, the red, because it's a red label according to CBCS, this was their old verified signatures label. So when you sent a book in, it was signed and you were having it verified. This was the label you got until only recently did they change it to a yellow label, like their witnessed signature. So
now, I did have so many signatures done prior in which that the third-party organizations were done. Hence, that's why a lot of my stuff is actually just authenticated, not necessarily.
Yeah, and I got a lot of that stuff too. Papa's bossing people around. They said I don't know if you have a dimmable light, but he's complaining that your light is washing out your face.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I throw my stuff on a dimmer, and yeah, you're all right, Pop. I do. But it is I keep my backlight so low too.
Yeah.
Did I mention I'm in lighting?
I use 3 points of light here. I got dimmable over here and a diffused over here. And
yeah, and I'm 45 to 45.
Yeah.
And I got gel on me. Thank you, Pop. I appreciate you keeping me honest, man. Is my color type good?
It's still a little intense, but we'll start. It's better.
Okay, I can lower it even more. I got a place. There we go.
There you go. Oh, wow. That contrast is beautiful now. All right. Now that we have Papa's permission to continue.
Thank you, Papa. I appreciate
Should we white balance for you too, Papa, while we're at it? I mean, much better, he says.
Appreciate you keeping me honest. All right. Moving on, I take it, right?
You get the rare thumbs up from Papa.
Thanks. I appreciate as opposed to the other finger. I
appreciate
That's right. Which is well known for, right? Exactly.
All right. I'm going this way. That's right. So
love the
I had taken a major gap in my collecting. So from 7 to 19 was one of them. I restarted, at the 19, kept going until around 1995 and then stopped. Now, that being stated, when I came back in 2019. And one of the things that brought me back was I was hearing about a story called Canto. I was hearing about an individual that highly educated. Sorry. And in the legal field and also was a hardcore nerd and really knew a lot about fantasy writing. So I was pretty much all in. So I asked my son if he could go with me on the signing event that they were holding down at the Golden Apple. This is the first book that my son and I
very nice.
had signed together. And that started our YouTube channel. Now, my son and I have a YouTube channel called 1-2 Comic Talk. That was the birth and introduction of me getting on the YouTube and eventually bringing in Entropy and comics. So this right here started it all in my YouTube journey and coming back to collecting in comics.
That's awesome. I love the remark. That's great.
So David and Drew had signed this. There's David way down here. He's
Okay.
very light. But
Yep.
so yeah, and I quickly grew almost a friendship with David, and I had an interview with him. He was my first interview on Went to Comic Talk, and to this day, being that I live where I do in LA, I quite frequently get to meet up with them and hang out.
Nice.
But yeah, it was just a pleasure not only to meet, as I always like to. I'm a self-proclaimed signature slut. I really enjoy the time to spend with these artists and creators and get stories behind the stories in which that they work in.
Right.
And that's always been something I've enjoyed.
Agreed. All right.
Cool. All right. So the next one here is a
Oh yeah.
Now, Fabrice Sapolsky is actually a buddy of ours. Like I said, I live in an area that where he used to live. He just recently moved a couple years ago back. But he also belongs to a group called the Sketchy Bug Group. That is a local group here that works out of one of the comic shops. Among them is Don Ho, Christy Shin, and many others, Don Nguyen, that also belong to this group. So Fabrice, when he was talking to me, and he always did about this character, it just got to be a point that, you know what, I got to get one. I have to get one. So hopefully when Fabrice comes back, I'll get him to sign this thing. And I really enjoy this character. It is a very, how should I say,
gritty,
overlooked character, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it stands on its own 2 feet. As if you never knew another Spider character and you were first introduced to this one, I think you would enjoy it as much as you do with Peter Parker.
Yeah, some of the subsequent miniseries have been great. I enjoyed them a lot. Recently got mine, was able to get mine signed by Fabrice. I was really kind of nervous about it coming back in 9.8 because it was already a 9.8 that I cracked out for it, but fortunately it came back 9.8 again. Sweet. It was fabulous.
That
it was actually
notorious for getting ticks and not letting them go.
Yeah, and I bought mine like during the pandemic from my LCS. They had like posted some pictures of some wall books that were up in the shop. You couldn't go into the shop or anything. I bought it just from a single crappy picture and was lucky enough that it, came out that it was a 9.8 candidate. I was like super thrilled. But it was one of these things where like I had to buy it, and then like you could drive by the LCS and call them when you were in the parking lot, and they'd have somebody run stuff out to you because you weren't allowed to go in the stores in the very early days of the pandemic.
I remember that. It was almost like backyard deals, in the alleys.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. Takes me back
to a time I don't want to relive. Thanks.
Most definitely.
Oh yeah.
Traffic was good though.
Most definitely.
Traffic was good. That's the only positive.
Wow. Okay. Hey. It's drinkable, not the other kind. Yeah, I wish I was sponsored. Now, when I became 25, I was almost learning how life worked. But to really kind of dial it in, what I ended up doing is I ended up taking a bunch of mixed martial art classes, and not to really fight. I wanted the philosophy that was accompanying the Eastern style of art training that I was taking. And when I was getting into it, I ended up learning about a character that ended up being a comic book character, not directly related. And I know it sounds vague, but Usagi Yojimbo was something that I gravitated to because of the martial arts that I was taking. And when I started learning about feudal Japan, I started learning about stuff, this guy hit hard. Now, I met Stan Sakai back in 1989 and got a bunch of books signed back in the day. And I was just really taken back by, one, how much I was growing in my mind by the philosophy that I was reading from comics. And two, how much I just found some book that almost really spoke to me beyond normal books, I guess. So Usagi was that character that really, I guess, superseded normal entertainment of just reading comics and kind of went beyond that to a philosophical level, and I can't stop.
Kev, that's the color special. What's actually on the back cover there? Did Sakai do additional stuff, or is it just an ad? Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the back right there. And you could have ripped that thing off and sent in stuff, which was the problem for this book for some of them. People were taking this and sending them in.
Yeah.
So I did end up getting a few of these just for that reason, knowing that people were damaging them. This was also a little history. This was my first submission lot. So all these pinks that you see was my first submission ever, and I never had any of them cleaned or pressed. I didn't know about it then, and it still does bear that infamous red / pinkish looking label. But yeah.
Different times though.
Yeah, most definitely. New labels. So to keep on that, I'm going to go ahead and run through a couple more for that very reason. Why? Well, this is when Sagi came back.
Oh, yeah.
And then left us again to go to Dark Horse, which is kind of, in my opinion, more fitting for its place. But this also is the Chris Johnson variant. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is Chris has finally landed a good book coming out pretty soon. I highly recommend his art. Check it out. I'm not going to drop anything. I'd rather let people kind of discover Chris on their own when they realize they're reading a book by him and they didn't even realize it was his art. I dig his art. And to finalize it, this is the one. This is the first appearance of the ongoing series of Usagi.
Oh, and boom goes the dynamite.
Yeah, it does. Now, no, this is not the first appearance, but this is the first ongoing series. The first appearance being Albedo 2.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I guess the best way to put it is a fantasy feudal Japan story.
Yeah. Kev, what's it actually say on the right side of that blue label, my man?
So,
could you read it to us?
For the first Usagi information right there of his own title.
Yeah. Would you mind reading it to us?
Yeah, absolutely. So what it says right there is it's the first Usagi Yojimbo in his own title. And there is also a backup story, Tinkle Drop, which is by Dennis Fujitaki.
Okay.
And if I didn't look up Dennis, but I want to say he had something to do with some of the co-origins of some of the Pokemon stuff back in the day.
Well, he's to blame, huh?
Yeah, well, I think I'm not certain if he actually did it. I think he was some of the people that were, kind of like people get in a little circle and talk about stuff. I think he was one of those guys.
Rob just has a little PTSD concerning Pokemon.
Oh, sorry about that, Rob.
It's all right.
For those in the know. Okay, what do you got for us next, Kev?
All right, so bringing us right back, and not too recent. Ren and Stimpy. Now, the reason why I'm going with this one is when I met a buddy of mine, in turn, I met my wife, and in turn, I met a buddy of mine. Now, at the same time, he was the one that introduced me to the show. It was so much me, I had to know what was more behind the show. So when I ended up finding out about Dan Slott and Bill Rye and all these other guys, I want to know more about them. So when I ended up meeting Dan Slott at one of his first cons ever, I ended up talking to him about it. And I was, along with my buddy, one of those people that did not get the signature on the book. Much like it says, you opened the poly bag, you ruined it, all that. That was the idea back in the 90s. So I didn't open it. I did get a custom sketch by Bill Rye, as opposed to actually writing on my book. But then again, 30 years later, I end up seeing Dan Slott, and I go, dude, and I open it up in front of him. I said, 30 years ago, you didn't sign this. Would you please sign it for me now? And
nice.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm sure most of
the people had conversation
that day.
I asked him sign this.
Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that. Yeah.
Oh my.
Very nice.
And that was almost, I'd have to admit, I have tactics in my signing, and actually this is one of them. When I want to go ahead and get a bunch of books signed, sometimes I'll use a little diversionary tactics. Sometimes I'll bring out books that they have never seen or books that they themselves like to talk about.
Right.
Which, as they're talking about, you could throw a bunch of the more books out there or actually start asking questions that they're not really consciously thinking about. So that's one way that I get a lot of books signed. Now, this character, thoroughly enjoy. Miles is actually one of my favorite characters of all time. And along with Cindy Moon, I like strong characters, and I like strong characters that are not dependent upon others to define them. They're young, they're semi-naive, but they're not oblivious to the world, and they're still navigating it like us. That's why I like Cindy. That's why I like Miles. So this was one that I had to get. And yeah, there's other books that I had them signed that I'm not showing you, but I found that it seems like Dan is a love-hate kind of guy with some of the people in the community.
Maybe
And
depending on
I
the
found that
property
I'm
you're
on
into,
the
yeah.
side of I really do like a lot of Dan Slott's writing. Well, thanks,
Awesome.
Callie. I appreciate you, buddy. All right. Moving up from there in that conversation, when I showed him that book, able to get him to talk a little bit more. I love, as I made mention, to get stories behind stories. And when I get sometimes certain artists or creators talking, they accidentally slip at times. He divulged to me information in which that I didn't think that he really wanted to, but he did nonetheless. And I ended up finding about a character that turned out to be rather big. Spider-Boy was a character that he was working on at the time, but really wasn't releasing to the public as far as information of what he was going on. So when he told me about some of the things, I not only ended up buying this, but a lot of the spoiler variants and a lot of the ratios and a lot of stuff. And as it stands today, Bailey Briggs is actually presently one of my favorite characters.
That's a
This
great
kid
cover, actually. You know,
Yeah.
It's awesome. This little guy is navigating through the world as
we'll have to give
essentially
that
an
cover
orphan.
something here. Hold on.
Yeah.
This is a great.
Well, thank you. I got a few of them. If you, I went nuts on this and I went heavy. And the reason why is I don't believe this character is going anywhere anytime soon. This character, little known the most, was actually supposed to be a throwaway character. It was only supposed to be a filler for 7 through 11. Was not supposed to be as big of a hit as it was. I had a feeling it would be. So I went a little nuts, and I really like this kid. It really exemplifies some of the pains that I believe, gravitated to when we were first reading some of the early Peter Parker stuff. Well, that's no longer around. Those days have been gone for over a generation, but we get it back with this kid, and I like it.
We're going to recognize Milt Miller with the generous $20 super chat. Of course, all the super chats go to Comics Curing Cancer, making sure that we can support the American Cancer Society. Thank you, Milt, for that. We're going to get you a, let's get you, here you go. This one is for you.
That's not what it looks like.
Jean Malot drops in at $2. Says, "Wants to see that apple pie?" Well, we showed you the apple pie, so let me give you this one. You need a montage.
It's just awesome.
Just as good. All right. Awesome. All right. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. Appreciate it. That all the support. Scrolling across the bottom. Don't forget, follow Entropy in Comics on Instagram and on YouTube. Links also down below. Make sure everyone's touched on that. How are we doing? Are we're getting close to halfway point, I think?
Oh, yes. I end up pulling 23.
All right.
Okay.
Well, let's get to that. Let's keep on going. We'll get to that halfway point. Let me know.
Okay. Halfway. Yeah, we got 2 more to go and we'll make it halfway.
Perfect. Perfect.
Sure.
So let's start it off with Hell Risen. Now, as I made mention, I like strong characters and characters that I feel that they can define themselves, even though they may start by a certain origin, connected to something. To me, Punchline is one of those characters that kind of superseded her origins. She seems to be a character that can stand on her own, and she's not dependent upon anyone. She's not defined by anyone anymore either. So I really like this character, and I do believe that this is a character that is going to be long-standing, and I just look forward to more stuff from her. I like everything they've ever written.
Yeah, hold that book up for a second. So I agree with you 100%. I'm a huge fan of Punchline. I especially love what they did with her, where she was manipulating the media and stuff to bring people onto her side, despite the fact that she was obviously not a good person. Yeah, imagine that. And so the fact that she's actually, if you read all her stuff, that she's actually more focused on the Joker's original message than and feels that the Joker has actually become lost in his connection with Batman, as opposed to the original thought of just anarchy and everything else. So it's really interesting from that aspect. I think that's what makes the character really great and really does stand alone and not necessarily the Joker's girlfriend necessarily. But the question for you is, there you go. So here you go.
My next one. That's why I want to bring it up. Keep going.
Yeah. So here's your question. Because we know that everybody originally was saying that Hell Risen 3, that you had previously shown, was the first full appearance.
Right.
Punchline, with 89 being the first Batman 89 being the first cameo, and 92 here being the first cover appearance.
Right.
The question is for you, what do you think on that? Because I've started to see some sources start to shift where they're referencing 92 now as the first full appearance, and 90 and going back Hell Risen 3, rolling it back to second cameo.
Now, again, this is all subjective, right? I mean, you can't hold anybody to any one thing. I mean, it almost goes back to the arguments that everyone has against, 180, 181.
I think it's a far different one. I mean, if you go back and you read Hell Risen, she's not even featured other than
Shadow. That doesn't count in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I agree that Hell Risen.
And then when you get to 89, well, now you're actually getting something there, right? So now you have an appearance, but it's not full.
Right.
I am there with you by stating, in my opinion, you're not only getting, I think it's 3 cover appearances on A, B, and this design cover. But
correct.
So those are her first
plus the one in store.
Right. But you're also saying that you're getting dialogue, you're getting full, appearance, you're getting everything that would, by today's standards of what people are defining as appearance, it's her first full true appearance.
I think
now what the consensus of the market is, I think that we're still in that term, if that makes sense. I think people are kind of fleshing that out.
It'll be sorted out. Go ahead, Chris.
I think the release has a lot to do with it, because Hell Risen first was released when the lockdown began. So that book was difficult to achieve for a whole lot of people. That in turn becoming the very first Chase New Comic Book Day release during the beginning of the pandemic. And people missed out on that particular book because not all comic shops received that book. So that kickstarted that particular book and its hot value right off the bat, regardless. People didn't even pay attention to the fact of whether or not she was in there for a cameo or a full appearance or full speaking appearance. I think the timing of that book and the fact that the doors ended up getting locked caused a big ripple effect on the whole Punchline saga.
That has value.
When she was released. Yeah.
It has value, but I don't see it as really. I have, even as a guy who owns multiple copies of first, second, and third prints and everything, I still am fully on board with the fact that, especially since I've heard rumors that she was added to that book as a afterthought just to get it in there.
Really?
Not necessarily originally intended to be in that particular book. It's what I had heard. I don't know if it's true or not, but if that's anyways, regardless, cool. But you got 92, and that's the important thing. And know where the 1 in 25 variant, that whole run of 1 in 25s was awesome. Was your signed? Did you have your signed there?
Yeah, yeah, all that signed. Yeah.
Yeah, go pull back up again.
Yeah.
Who we got? Who's signed on? Okay. Tanyan. Yeah. Okay.
Same with this guy.
Right.
That's
the 1 in 25s. I was fortunate. There was a lot of signings. I was able to get the entire run of 1 in 25 signed by both, double signed by Tanyan and God, who's the cover artist on that?
Jimenez.
Yeah. Jorge Jimenez. They were doing there was a bunch of signings that they were doing where I was able to send them off and get them all double signed, all the entire 1 in 25 run, plus my 1 in store 92 variant.
That I couldn't grab. That was one that I missed out on.
I had to pull that one out of eBay.
Okay.
But I got one. It turned out good. It came at 9.8. Got it double signed. I'm stoked as hell on it.
Yeah.
As a Punchline fan, I'm with you.
Sweet.
All
right. But staying with the same type of strong woman character, but moving away from Punchline and moving away from DC, let's go ahead and talk about this one. And the reason why is, you may go, wait, seriously, Ms. Marvel? Well, the reason why is, and I'll end it after this one in the next book, and we'll call that half.
Yep.
Is this is written in the first book by Iman Vellani. She is Ms. Marvel. So I had her sign this along with Sabir Pirzada. And it was more because of the fact that it is her start. She's like us. She's a nerd. She's a geek. She's hardcore in the comics. And she's just trying to find a way to break in. And this was seemingly something that was, I don't know, it meant to be kind of serendipitous that she was writing a character that she was portraying. And being that Sabir is such a nice guy and they hit it off, the book, in my opinion, seems rather seamless, that they work well together as writers. Now, regardless if you like it or not, I get. I particularly enjoy this series. I think it's pretty cool, and I enjoy her writing. I'm sorry?
I said it's a fun series.
Yeah, and this was one of the two I'm going to show you from this, but this is the other, and the reason why I got this is one of 2 books signed in the world that only exist, meaning there's only 2 of these books that exist.
Nice.
Signed by both Sabir and Iman. And I own both of them. So it wasn't, as in the case of many times, your collection isn't always just trying to get your hardcore gold in or whatever. Sometimes it's just the rarity or what it means to you. So both I had to obtain because the book did kind of mean something to me, both meeting them. And the fact knowing that I knew that there was going to be nobody with these covers, I had to get them signed.
It's all about collecting what you like. Ladies and gentlemen, Austin LeMay has entered the building. Gary B, hello. Yeah, so great. Awesome first half. Let's go ahead and we'll mix it back up here. We're going to do our next giveaway. You guys can go and start hitting that hashtag OnlySlabs. We'll be doing another series of pulls from the giveaway bin there. While we're doing all that, of course, I want to let you guys know about the Rogue Trader. Yes, that's what we'll do. Rogue Trader, he's back to doing pressing books again after a little hiatus. If you're interested in utilizing him as a presser, be sure to use the code FATSTACKS and you'll get 20% off your pressing. And when you do, $10 is donated to Comics Curing Cancer. Also, say hello and thank you to our Goon Squad members, Stephen C., Legion of Comics, DJ Links, Dr. Von Hoots, Comics from the Spiral Dimension, Dale of Suspense, Justin Birch Letters, Son of a Bruce, The Comic Viking, The Comic Vet, Austin LeMay, Collecting with Durs, Mad Spidey, Brian LCS, Izzyverse NYC, Chuck Hensey, Comiverse, Deadman, Anachronic Comics, Colossus Collector, JG, T. Mohana, Dave Mayer, still only 35 cents, Cliff on Comics, Bearded Comic Bro, and Never Could Figure It Out. Super appreciate you guys and your support, ongoing support of the channel. Woo. Let's see. While we're giving everyone a chance for this, Kevin, what is coming up? What's coming up for you over on your YouTube channel? What, you got anything planned that would entice these folks to venture on over there and give you a sub up and hit that notification bell?
Sure. Every Tuesday, I do a show called Kmart. It's Kevin's most anticipated reads tomorrow. And at the end of every show, I have a blue light special. That is my most anticipated read. It's again every Tuesday. Along with that, I usually do a show called How Random Is That? It's a show in which that I go through a box picked by you, by the letter in which that you asked for. And much like what you do, Rob, I ask the chat to drop inside the bottom of the comment section, 1, the letter, 2, a number, and 3, the direction I'll be counting from. I grab the box, I grab a book, and I talk about that book to go ahead and break it down of 1, why I have that book, 2, what I think of the book, and 3, why I still maintain and claim ownership of that book as opposed to. And
Pass it on. Okay.
I do another show where I called This Week's Signed Books. So I usually, because of where I live, get at least something signed a week. And if not, maybe the next week. So I usually do a show based on some of the signatures that I get. In the case of last week, I received over 51 signatures from 14 different artists and creators.
Nice. Thank you. That's awesome. I love the Kmart thing. It's awesome.
Thank you.
I love it. Robert loves it too. All right, guys, make sure, go ahead and hit that hashtag OnlySlabs if you want to be participating. Remember, we do ship internationally, so you are not limited. I see 45 out of 59. Give you guys just a moment longer while Chris tells us what's coming up this week over on the Comic Vet channel.
Today, I just dropped my new Comic Book Day haul. Actually thought I uploaded it already, but it turns out I pushed the wrong date on the calendar. So it's out today as opposed to Thursdays when I normally drop that video. But next Wednesday is Show Us What You Got, the open invitation new Comic Book Day hangout. If you've never been on the panel before, all you have to do is just reach out to me on Instagram for the link. If you have new books to your collection or books from New Comic Book Day, you're more than welcome to come on in. Reach out to me early, as over the last month or so, the 10 spots fill up rather quickly before we go live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as Rob knows. And I'm looking forward to it. Again, everyone, remember the first Wednesday of every month, we have a duck race where we give away a big old Comic Army box to one of the lucky channel members. Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, it makes me almost feel like I need to not just show up 5 minutes before the show goes live because the slots are filling up, man. All right, let's go ahead and hit this to see who wins it. Ladies and gentlemen, Wheel of Fish. Okay, the old Weird Al UHF Wheel of Fish.
Gen X gets it. Lone Eagle.
Look at that, Lone Eagle. Congratulations, channel member. All right, let's remove that, and I will make myself big here and grab this box of comics. Yeah, I miss.
Yeah, all right.
I'm on drugs right now to make my back feel good. Make me feel good. All right, Kevin, we'll pull for Lone Eagle here. Give me a number 1 through 10 from the front, 1 through 10 from the back, or we'll do some back to front action.
Back to front.
All right, you just tell me when to stop.
And stop.
Okay, are we grabbing the book closest to you, closest to the wall, or both?
Both.
Excellent choice. All right, and do that again.
Yep. And there. Stop. Yeah.
Both?
Yes.
Okay, one more time. We'll start from the front this time.
Sure. And stop.
Oops. Okay, and both?
Yeah.
All right. Chris, bonus book time.
Stop closest to the wall. All right, Rob, watch your back now. I told you we need to get that on the shirt, and look what happened.
All right. So the bonus book, we got Jimmy Robinson's Junk Rabbit.
Oh, I love that book. That's a great story.
That is terrific.
And let's see here. We've got Superman issue 25, extra sized anniversary issue, introducing Sinmar.
Yeah.
There
Good character. I hope they bring him back.
Jeez Louise. First Kid Loki.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Let's see here. How about some Greg Land Mystery in Madripoor?
Oh.
Ooh, signed.
Blind.
Indeed. Greg Land, COA on the back.
I know what Patch is up to there, but it doesn't look good.
Something from the Bronze Age, some Vault of Evil.
Cool.
Very nice. I'm surprised Rob's letting that one go.
How about some Doctor Strange issue 6, the first appearance of Gaia.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice strange key. I don't know why it's in there, but.
And then the Uncanny X-Men issue 282, the first cameo of Bishop and first cover appearance of Bishop.
Holy cow! Come on, man. Come on.
Wow.
That shouldn't be in there. That should be on its way to CGC or off to Wills Portasio to get signed. Jim Lee. Like, come on, man.
It's what we do here.
Yeah.
Hashtag best giveaway box ever.
That's what we do here. Remember us when the CBC Awards happen, Lone Eagle. We're buying your vote, Lone Eagle.
One giveaway at a time.
Oh,
all right.
Brilliant.
Congratulations, Lone Eagle, on those books. Yeah. Dang, Rob.
Yeah.
You picked it. Hey, Phil Ailing, don't forget, I still have books from you that you won 2 weeks ago. I haven't received you an address from you yet. Make sure you hit me up on Instagram or on the old email. You can do so by at robs.fatstacks on Instagram or robs.fatstacks@gmail.com so I can get you your books, Phil. All right, because if I don't hear from you in another week or so, your books are going back in the bin. All right. Hey, it's got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Okay, you did send it. I didn't receive it, Phil. So, I'll try again.
Phil, don't be afraid to double down. Send it to me.
Yeah,
again, just in case.
Yeah,
No.
Not sending the books.
Send the address. I'm not going to send it.
Yeah.
Yeah, send me the address. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, wait, just send the books.
I don't remember
All right.
what these books were, but yeah.
Well, that explains why. Thank you, Phil. That explains why you. That's your explanation as to why you didn't get your books yet.
Yeah.
I didn't see the address. Oops. I'm trying to remove that. All right, Kevin.
Yes.
Second half, second verse, same as the first, a whole lot louder, and doesn't need to be worse.
Perfect. Then let's start it off even better.
Oh.
This is the book I was talking about as far as Miles. Miles is definitely one of my favorite characters and is definitely a character.
Yeah!
Most definitely. It's exactly how I feel. It is definitely a character that I'll be reading for quite a long time. This guy, this kid is cool. And I'm a big Spider person. I think you can tell I'm a Symbiote fan too. But, Miles is cool.
Miles has some of the best written Spider stories in Marvel right now. Probably has for the last 3 years, starting with Empire of the Spider. But Kev, we've had this book a handful of times. Not as many as what you would think on OnlySlabs, but would you mind reading us what's on the right side of the blue label there?
Absolutely. It says first appearance of the new Spider-Man, in parentheses, Miles Morales. And it says polybagged removed. So the person that submitted this submitted the polybag and never had it cleaned or pressed. So that's precisely what it says.
Well, you could have it clean and pressed by CGC.
No, I don't believe that they did, from my understanding.
Okay.
So the person that I ended up buying this from contacted me and said, hey, it sounds like to me you really want this book. I said, yeah, I'll pull it off. I'll send it to you. Give me this amount of money, and I'll send you a second print for free.
Okay, cool.
So that's how I got this book.
Nice.
Thank you for being progressively relaxing.
As I made mention, I'm a huge symbiote fan. And no, it's just one of the few symbiotes that I totally dig. To me, it represented how this foundation has risen to what it is now. into where I believe it's going. I believe, as we're going to see in this Venom War coming this summer, that we're going to see symbiotes, not only as we've been seeing over in the past 30 years, but for the next 30 years becoming, in my opinion, kind of like the New Mutants, where it's going to be almost a symbiote-driven Marvel universe more than it is going to be a mutated Marvel universe. So,
interesting.
To me, this represents all that.
That's the book that kickstarted all those hot Venom covers during the COVID bubble as well. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I say this was a book that at one point was a really spicy meatball.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, with the end of that whole run, everything else, it's come back down considerably. Chris, in a 9.8, we can't take into account the fact that it's double signed because it's difficult to figure out what the values of a Stegman and Donny Cates signature are. But if you were to pick one of these up, what would you expect to pay today for a Venom #3, this cover, the Stegman regular cover in a 9.8?
I would figure the FMV on a 9.8 Venom first null right now would probably be around about $180.
You would be right on the nose, pretty much. It's depending on who you look at. Last sold was $185. FMV in cover price has it listed at $195. So right in that ballpark. That's exactly it. Just below $200. Absolutely. A lot of people coming in right around that. Good. Check the description of this live stream, Phil. All the links are there. Okay.
Yeah, I really enjoy that book. So I got about 5 of them.
Yeah.
All right, moving out and going back to the youth again. When I was getting back into comics, like I said, in about 1989. I have a bunch of comics around shops around me. In my vicinity, I think there is 43 comic shops in a 25-mile vicinity of me.
Wow.
So one of the launches back in that time was the birth of Image Universe. I ended up meeting a person named Danny Mickey, who in turn introduced me to a lot of people. This was one of the first books and the first birth of the Image Universe that I ended up getting in that time of that era. And to me, this represents, in my own mind, kind of the birth of the Image Universe as we know it today. So that's why I end up having to get this, not only, slabbed, but signed. And yeah, you do see a yellow label, but this actually was signed in 92. I am not going to tell you how I did that.
Yeah, that's those were good days. I can remember like when the day that book dropped and rushing to my comic shop in Toronto to pick that up. But yeah, Cyberforce, Youngblood, Wildcats, Savage Dragon ended up being my favorite moving forward, and obviously Spawn, the King of the Hill. But yeah, I can remember when that one came out, and I think I can remember as a kid thinking the interior artwork for Cyberforce I thought was the best of the bunch. But that, of course, that's just me. And then, yeah, but I was in love with Silvestri's X-Men work at that point as well. And yeah, Cyberforce, such an unheralded great book that often kind of gets forgot about with the whole launch of the Image titles, because obviously it's Spawn, Youngblood, and Wildcats seems to be the ones most people talk about today, and to a lesser degree Savage Dragon because it's still printed at this point. But yeah, the memories just came rushing back, Kev, as soon as you put that up, man. Yeah, solid book. And the Max, yes, DBH, the Max.
All right, now I'm going to fast forward. So my son and I, like I said, we started 1-2 Comic Talk under the premise of, one, we want to go ahead and share with the community a lot of the experiences that we have, because most people don't get them. Even a lot of people that go to huge cons still don't even see as many people as I even just saw at the last signing event that I went to at Free Comic Book Day, which was over 14 people there. So we wanted to share with the community a lot of people that we were meeting and experiences and so forth. So one of the first interviews I did outside of David Brewer was a gentleman named Garrett Gunn. He was writing a book at the time called Franklin and Ghosts. It's not only become a game, it's becoming a mini animated series that unfortunately wasn't launched to the masses. But this, to me, is the pinnacle of Franklin and Ghosts.
Oh,
this is the
Nice.
book. And at one time, kind of like what you were saying before, Rob, this was the spicy meatball. This book at one point, I think it was almost going for $3,000 at one
Wow.
point. And I won it.
wow.
So the thing about this book is the derogatory tales is one of the variants that makes it, wasn't very highly sold. But this is the foundation of Franklin and Ghost, which is a story of two aliens escaping from a prison, and they end up taking possession of one, a ghost head, which is just a skull. He landed in a graveyard, and the other one hit a fox. So these aliens are now a floating skull head and a fox going around the universe.
Kev, what's the release date on that particular issue then?
6/22/20.
Okay.
And if it's not, unfortunately, there's not enough money being put behind this project. I would love to see this as a full-length animation. I know I voice acted it out on a show one time because we enjoy the characters so much. Wow, I don't know, it must have been 4 years ago. But yeah, Garrett Gunn is not only writes books that are funny as hell, but they're so entertaining. They really need to become adapted as animation. So I dig Garrett stuff.
That's crazy.
All right, now let's go and fly backwards again. Outside of just Thor, some of the offshoots of the characters of Thor are, as you showed Kid Loki, are really cool. One of the characters that I thought was really cool that came out of Thor was Beta Ray. Beta Ray, in my opinion, is...
Hold on. Wait, we'll give it again because it's a Thor book and it's a lot of love for Beta Ray.
And Walt
Remy, would you please give this book its due?
Yeah! Yeah!
Thor may be worthy, but not nearly as much as Beta Ray. This guy is worthy. Not only is he worthy, but I think he exemplifies everything that we thought Thor was supposed to. I mean, I don't know about you, but this guy is a character. And when they reintroduced him as a short little minis that came out, what was that, 19, 20, 21, somewhere around there? It
2021
deepened my love for this character.
Yeah,
Beta Ray
Warren Johnson, yeah.
is awesome.
The funny thing is about this, Kev, you're not the only one to express that kind of love for Beta Ray Bill. I would say it kind of is the custodian of the show. This is top 5 most shown books on the history of OnlySlabs. This book shows up all the time. There's a lot of love for Beta Ray Bill. People don't care if it's a direct or if it's a newsstand. People just want that iconic Simonson cover. And yeah, there's just a lot of love for Beta Ray Bill. And I don't have that book. Yet.
What?
Yet I don't have it.
My God. Every time we find out another book you don't have, I'm still dumbfounded.
Yeah, I don't. I have had it. I don't have it right now.
Put it on your list for Heroes Con.
Yeah, put it.
Interesting thing, when I went looking for this book, I did go to eBay, and when I found a person that I kind of felt that I could trust, the guy only lived 2 miles from me. So I'm like, hey, do you mind if I just come to you? And he's like, no, not at all. So when I paid him, I actually gave him a book that I had too that he said he was into. So it kind of worked out really well.
Nice.
Very good.
All right. Now, flying back again forward, but sticking with the Thor book, as I made mention, my son and I, he and I were the reason why I got back into not only comics of this present era, but why I wanted to do YouTube, as I made mention earlier. So when I went and jumped in line to go with my son to a signing event in Torpedo to go see Donny Cates, we didn't know that there was like a priority thing in the line. So we ended up last. That being stated, Donny Cates was more than receptive to us, and he gave to us what I never thought he would. He actually did a sketch for my son.
Oh, nice.
Of Thor. as Hammer and on the issue #1 of the sketch cover. So I couldn't believe it, and my son was going through the roof. I was going through the roof, and this will always be a cherished item of mine.
Good
Yeah,
for
no, that's
you.
awesome.
Good for you.
Now, as I made mention, now we were last in line, and we did get to spend a lot of time, and Donnie did feel bad. Now, we shortly after that ended up going to LA Comic-Con and kind of ended up in the same circumstance in the line over with Scotty Young. And being that we were last in line and everyone got sent away, we ended up in a small circle of people with Scotty in a private conversation as he was signing a couple books for us. He, as I made mention before, let slip of a project that he was doing, and I went all in. That project was Strange Academy.
Yeah.
And I ended up buying not only a few of these covers, which I ended up getting one over to John Comics the Kids, but I ended up doing a lot of the variants and so forth. This to me was something that needed to be long ago. And when Scotty pitched it to me, I was actually kind of like you said earlier, Rob, dumbfounded that no one had already did this. No one took a school of magical kids and did almost like
Well,
a
I mean,
style setup.
Well, Harry Potter he may hold his hand up, but yeah,
not in the Marvel universe.
Right, exactly.
No one ever considered it.
Or Professor X may
when
have
he was
something to
taking all
say,
these
but
characters and taking this idea and telling me how it was coming to fruition, yeah, I definitely jumped on board. And as we see the integration of these characters into the regular Marvel universe, them standing on their own, them standing together as a team, them integrating to other teams, and I've seen them already with Spider-Boy coming up and all this. These guys are not going anywhere time soon. So you may have different writers, but you will always have these characters.
Yeah, no, these are, and that first book, I mean, it's a slew of introduced first appearances, and then you get issue 3 in this series, which was really somewhat difficult to get a hold of because it was, again, the pandemic shut down all the LCSs as issue 3 was about to come out. So it was a difficult book to track down.
Yeah.
I see John's comment there. Absolutely, John. All right. Now, also during that time, I was kind of questioning where I was at on the channel that I had, meaning 1-2 Comic Talk. So my son already expressed kind of what he wanted to do, and I didn't necessarily want to quit, so I started Entropy in Comics. One of the first spec, which I don't necessarily do, but shows that I did at the time was on 2 books. One, Shadecraft, and the other, Stray Dogs. Now, you may not know that I work in the entertainment industry, but some of the privileges that I receive is I'm walking by offices all the time. Sometimes those offices are people making deals of securing certain rights and copies and so forth. So when I end up hearing that this story was optioned 3 months before its release, I went all in.
Yeah, and banger of a series, highly original. To do it in the Disney style of art and then have that graphic violence that's in it and hide nothing. So well done. And then on top of it all, the genius part to have the reprints all done in classic movie posters, classic horror posters was awesome. Like the Friday the 13th one was probably my favorite. But yeah, there's so, and now that they're on to Cats with Feral.
Yeah,
they're off to a great start again. But yeah, that's Stray Dogs. I can't wait to see that on the big screen or small screen or however they're going to do it. But
the biggest thing was figuring out how to adapt it. And I remember talking to both Tony and some of the production people about that. And once they figured out how to adapt it, that's when the go ahead came. So look for it hopefully soon. And when I mean soon, maybe 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah, and really good, solid ending to that series as well.
After they did end it, they were approached, can you do it again? And that was the birth of Feral. Knowing that Stray Dogs was a definitive ending, they didn't want to milk a cow that had already been dehydrated. So Feral was born. And the idea of Feral is it's going to be an ongoing series, which most people are really not talking about. So I say when it ends its first arc, you're going to have a lot of people looking for issue #1. Okay, now let's fly back and go way back into the 70s. Now, yes, as I made mention, I collected back then, but I have not really told you much about my collection. Yeah, I was into the traditional characters, but also I was into kind of the hardcore ones, the rad ones. And that being Ghost Rider was probably one of the raddest one at the time. Outside of Doctor Strange, this guy posed some of the greatest mystery of a Marvel character of all. It was just very, I don't know, kind of not just something that wasn't supposed to be read as a kid, but I had to. So as I got older and got a couple of bucks, I had to get this book. You'll also notice that I have CGC, that I have CBCS. I had to get a PGX.
You know, as somebody who has a lot of PGX, I had nothing against them. You know, so I don't know. You know, other than that, the unfortunate bit is that people don't value that the book anywhere close,
right,
to the same. As a person who's buying books, though, sometimes it's a great value because
that's why I got it at PGX. Also, the value was there.
yeah, I mean, that book is a book that has come down some, but it's still a pricey book for a third of, or something. It's not even the first or second appearance. So,
right,
having just picked up a copy myself this past weekend, you know, it's
well, congratulations! This past weekend.
Yeah, I was at Shortbox Live, but my video is posted there if anybody's want to see the whole haul, because that wasn't even the biggest book I picked up.
Oh wow! Yeah, this is definitely one of the big significant ones for me. Definitely had.
That's a big book, no doubt about it. He's riding a chopper, one of those Japanese pseudo cycles. Yeah. Well, and the funny part, we had somebody on recently. I can't remember. Who was talking about the fact that every motorcycle, maybe was it Daymare's? Somebody was on recently was talking about the fact that like every single issue, the motorcycle is different. They didn't even draw the motorcycle consistently.
I didn't even look at that. I got to look at that.
Yeah.
Before I move on to my last book, I just want to point out one last thing. The reason why I had this picture chosen is that's my dog.
Nice.
Very good.
So I had to, you know, as you well know, when you start collecting, sometimes you never ever consider releasing anything. That's definitely one. And to finish off with the last book, here's another book that I'll never get rid of, and another book that means a whole lot to me. And the reason why is this book I gave to a community member to do some art for me. Both when my son and I were doing 1-2 Comic Talk. This community member is a dear person, I believe, to the community, not only just to me. So this book is Flash, but the community member of God Tank.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
And being, yes, that I am a Flash fan, Simpsons fan, and what better way to put them both together and have one of the community members do it for me. So this is another one of those that will never leave my possession.
That's great.
Thank you.
Homer is not exactly who I think is going fast, but you know, hey.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I love this work. He did some great work on this.
Kev, is there any work on the back cover as well, or is it just all front? Okay.
No. Just got the clean.
Very good.
But yeah, he did a marvelous job on this. When I received this, yeah, I was just in awe. I was
that's
in fact, I'm gonna put it up right now.
I live that cover. Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow, thank you, Kevin.
Right.
That was a great set of books. Thank you very much for bringing those on and joining us today. Appreciate that.
It was a privilege. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I'm gonna cough. So while I do that, just a second. I'm back. It was a perfect timing. I had that set up, something new. I need to get some music with it or something. It's just kind of boring. You
I
agree?
want to thank all the people in the chat too, man. You guys were very, very kind. I appreciate
Yes.
you guys.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. We're not done yet because we do have another giveaway to do still. So we do now. What else we do? Oh, let's just do Fat Flash. Fat Flash. All right. So let me share screen, giveaway stream, share, and there you go. Fat Flash. Go ahead and only coughs. You get tired of calling out names? No, not necessarily. I just thought I'd try something different. Let's see here. Fat Flash. Yeah, help that dead air from the X radio guy. Yeah, it drives me crazy. But what is he gonna do? All right, it was a work in progress. So, all right, well, this is going. Well, you guys are entering that. I'll let you know this week what's coming up for me over on right here. Over on this channel, the channel you're watching. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. Are you a channel member? Consider becoming a channel member. All the channel membership goes to Comics Curing Cancer. A great way to show your support for Comics Curing Cancer and the campaign. So I did on Thursday, I dropped my Short Box Live haul. Short Box Live is a small comic only focused con here on the West Coast put on by the Short Boxed People company, and it was fabulous. Last year I picked up my ASM 1 and this year I picked up another big book as well as that Ghost Rider and some other cool stuff. So check out that video. It's posted, see what it is, and maybe I should just be done collecting comics now. Also probably means that once again, when Chris and I do our year in review, it's gonna be really hard for me to pick just 10 books for my top 10 of the year.
How are you getting your whole head in that screen right now? Come on, man.
Just saying. I gotta pick up a lot of big books. My Heroes Con is not going to be very big because I just spent my money.
This is true. You may not win Heroes Con this year.
Yeah, no, I don't even know if I'm competing this year. Anyways, obviously today we had this. Monday, we'll have our mail haul, including a fabulous commission I got back from Todd Beats. Absolutely crazy. One of the Spider-Man rogues. Just absolutely awesome, as well as some Alex Ross exclusives and other good stuff. So check that out. And then Thursday's video will be part 2 in my PGX conversion therapy video. So I sent in 5 or 6, I can't remember how many it was, PGX books that were signed with signature verification. And we sent this block over to CBCS. And them do signature verification on them and grade them. And we'll find out whether or not the grades stayed the same and whether or not they verified the signatures as well. So we'll do that. And coming up, not in the not too distant future, while you'll really want to hit the notification bell, I just got ship notification that the PGX Conversion Therapy 3, Part 3, is shipped from CGC yesterday. And that is 6 Silver Age Spider-Man books that went in to get crossover graded. So that's going to be really kind of cool to see what happens there.
Nice.
Part 4, which will be down the road because I still have to send those books off. We're going to do all 10.0 and 9.9 PGXs, send them to CGC and see whether or not, now that CGC is looking for these, whether or not we can keep any of those.
Right.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, all right, let's go ahead and spin it. Season win. I got 40 out of 52. So here we go, round and round. Where she goes, where she stops, the wheel of fish knows. Like that. I combined the two.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe.
Ooh, Adventurous Joe. Congratulations, sir.
Congrats, Joe.
All right, let me put myself up here, make myself big. So roll over here to pick up this box so I don't have to reach.
Careful. Watch your knees now if you're going to be doing it that way.
My knees didn't do anything.
All right.
All right. Let's see. Who is it? Your turn to pick, Chris?
It is.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead and pick for Joe. Tell us what we're doing.
All right. We're going to let it ride. Stop in those two books. And everyone, make sure you're subscribed to Joe. He just dropped a new video talking about his Indiana Jones action figures.
Oh, cool.
Stop in those two books. Yep. And stop in those two books, Rob.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
You see his eyes
all
go up?
here.
Kevin, bonus
we
book
go.
time.
All right, ready, right? Stop.
Okay. In front or behind my
Go
finger?
to behind. That was That was the one I was trying to get before. Cool.
All right.
It all worked out in the end.
Yeah.
All right. Joe, first up, do you like Alex Ross?
Oh my.
That's a nice cover.
Very
One of the best. I mean, this whole run of Alex Ross books was phenomenal covers, but this was absolutely one of the top, in my opinion. Congratulations there.
Get used to that S. Mm-hmm.
How about the first ongoing series for War Machine?
Oh,
This is the embossed foily variant.
we got some 90s action right there, baby. When they got those
Jim
new,
Rhodes, the armor and the attitude.
we got those new printing presses Marvel said, and let's use them, guys.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider, issue number 1, the BTC exclusive variant by Cale New.
Awesome.
Awesome.
I love that the chain's right up front there. Looks great.
They all can't be new books. So how about some Captain America and Falcon issue 201?
Very nice. That's
30
kind of got.
goodness.
Is that a Kirby cover? It's got a Kirby flavor to it.
There may be.
Maybe. I'm sure Mad Spidey will let us know.
This is a book that I used to pick up at every con I go to, but the last 2 cons, I haven't been able to pick one up. Shogun Warriors, issue number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I often say I don't know why that's in there, but I know Rob.
Neither do I, because I love
see,
Shogun Warriors.
Yeah, and I know Rob loves spreading the good word about the Shogun Warriors, and yeah, that's a hot book.
Batman 356.
That's a cool book.
Nice.
God, look at the reflection goggles. Those are so cool.
And then our bonus book, Saki, Spider-Gwen 19, the first appearance of the symbiote that bonds with Gwen, and the first appearance of Dr. Elsa Brock.
Damn.
Very nice. Double key. Nice. I've never seen that cover before, Rob.
Yeah, have I.
Spider-Gwen Volume 2, issue 19.
Very nice.
Congratulations, Joe. We'll get those books on out to you. Everybody, I appreciate you all coming on out. Remind you, next week, we're back with another episode on Slabber Day. Joining us for a second appearance, the patron of comic art will be back joining us again for OnlySlabs. And we got a couple more episodes. Then we break for Heroes Con. Of course, Heroes Con, North Carolina. Check out not OnlySlabs, but Comics Curing Cancer at booth 1769. I guess because I'll be there, you can check out OnlySlabs, and Chris will swing by. He'll be in the area. He'll circulate. So when we're both there, isn't it really OnlySlabs then?
Yes.
There you go. Let's see. Oh, and then after, the lineup. When we come back from from Heroes Con, Chris, buckle up, baby. We're bringing back some of the greats. as we go on a several weeks revisiting some folks have been on the show several times with some heavy hitters. It's going to be fabulous. I can't wait.
Are we going to be visiting the UK again?
We will.
Yeah, he picked up the big book.
All right, guys. Until next time, make sure you collect what you want. Don't listen to anybody, including me. I mean, I'm just a fat man with a fat stack of comics and a fat opinion. Thanks for watching.